Welcome back to the Fellow Real Estate Agent. I'm your host, Mark Faris. Today, I'm going to talk about setting goals, why they're important, and how to achieve them. I used this approach to do 38 sales in my first full year in real estate, making $250,000 back in 2008. The harsh reality is that the main reason that there's an 87% failure rate in the real estate industry is that most agents don't set clear annual sales goals. They're not clear on what winning actually looks like and don't have a specific measurable goal with a clear deadline. So if you haven't listened to the first episode, be sure to go back and listen to it because the episode on motivators sets a strong foundation for the talk that I'm about to give. So I want to backtrack to when I started in real estate. So it was late December 2007. I was 6 months into my career and I was working hard. I was working hard with my wife, Joanna, and we were basically doing everything that we knew to be successful, but we didn't have a clear, specific target. And we were like a ship in the middle of the ocean going round and round. We didn't have an actual rudder. So we didn't have a clear destination of where we were going towards. And so after reading this book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, I realized that I needed to set my focus and set my motivator on a clear income goal. And if you recall, my first motivator was providing for Joanna and her family and to be able to prove to her father that I could provide for her. But I didn't have a clear target of what success actually looked like. Like, what was a specific measurable that told me if I was going to be successful? So was it 5 sales, 10 sales, 20 sales? There wasn't anything measurable. And so in retrospect, that lack of focus was a major reason why I wasn't gaining traction when I started. So in 2008, I set an income target for $250,000, requiring 40 sales. This goal helped me align my motivator of providing for my family with a clear, measurable target. So Joanna and I, we continued working hard, but we started talking about the goal. I started going over the goal each and every day, staying focused on where we were going, and we started gaining traction. And so we ended up with 38 sales that year, so just shy of the goal. And most would look at that and say, wow, Mark, that's pretty good. But for myself, what was interesting is that I felt defeated. I was actually, at that time, I was moping around the house, and Joanna came to me one day and said, Mark, like, what's going on? What's wrong? And I said, well, we didn't hit our goal. And she said, well, have you reset your goal yet? And I said, well, no. She says, you need to reset your goal. And it was like this light bulb went off. And I'm like, yeah, I want to do 75. Now, there was no sort of like scientific approach, okay, for me going from 40 sales to 75. That was the number that I believed that I could do. And initially, Joanna was concerned. She's like, Mark, like, that's a little high. Like, why don't we, shoot a little bit lower and then you can overshoot it? And I was like, no, 75. And she was coming from a place, she didn't want me to be disappointed like I was when I hit 38 sales of 40. And what ended up happening was that next year, we didn't hit 75. We actually blew past that and hit 100 sales. Okay, so we hit 75 3/4 of the way through the year, and we reset it for 100. And we hit 100 bang on, not 99, not 101, but 100. And so that was incredible to me that we had 2 years in a row that were pretty much like bang on. And so we reset the goal again for 160 sales the following year, and we hit 160 on the dot. The following year, we reset it for 225, and we had one sale that was a domino of 2 others. So we had 3 deals fall apart at the last minute, and we actually finished the year at 222 sales. And so I'm not making this stuff up. This is what happened. And so each and every year we came close, or we either hit our goal or we came close to that. And so I am absolutely convinced that it is a fact that goal setting works, and it works in a big way. I have lots of evidence in my life to be able to prove that. And I've talked with many other top producers that have had similar stories to me. And so this taught me the power of pursuing big goals backed by strong motivators. I haven't met a top producer that isn't big into goal setting. Okay, they're all very clear what they want. They know what they're trying to accomplish, and they focus intensely on accomplishing exactly what they're setting out to do. So here's a question for you. How do feelings of overwhelm happen? Feelings of overwhelm happen, and they stem from feeling out of control. And so what happens when you feel out of control? When you have multiple things happening all around you, you become paralyzed and you end up doing nothing. Okay. And so how do you handle that? So it's the same way that you tame a lion. So the way that a lion trainer tames the lion is they hold up a four-legged stool. And so the four-legged stool is like four different things going at the lion, and the lion feels like he's being attacked from multiple different areas, and the lion becomes docile because they don't know which one to attack. And so it's the same for real estate agents. When you're not clear of what your overarching target is or what is most important, you start to feel overwhelmed and you get distracted doing busy work or doing things like watching Netflix. And so similarly, a clear target provides extreme clarity on what needs to be done each and every day. Okay, you're not drifting aimlessly, and you don't have many things coming at you that are all of equal importance. And okay, so getting very clear what that is critically important. You're moving with purpose, avoiding feelings of overwhelm and hopelessness when you set a clear target. And so Tony Robbins often says that clarity drives action. And it's so true. Clarity drives action. So here's another thought. When you're pursuing a specific target, you become attractive, extremely attractive to the world. And so the world seems to step aside when you're on fire for something and going after something that's meaningful for you. Okay? Because you see them, they're like, wow, that guy's really going full out. And so if you recall, the last time somebody was going after something in a big way, it was probably attractive, right? And so it's the same if you see somebody training for the Olympics. It's like, that's inspiring. That's attractive. The world loves to see somebody that is trying to accomplish something big. And so this is why inspirational movies about the main character overcoming challenges, setting clear a goal and overcoming many challenges is so powerful, because this is something that the world is so caught up in people failing. And when they see somebody fail and then overcome anyways, in spite of the failure, that is very inspiring and people love that. And so this is where for you, when you start going towards something, you become very much more attractive to your clients because you're on fire for something. Okay. It's like you're a magnet in a way. So now that you have your motivator or the fuel to help you power your vehicle or power yourself to your destination of your firm sale goal, the next step is to set a clear destination. And so this is like when you go on a road trip, say with your family, you need a clear destination or a clear address to be able to plug into your GPS to be able to know where exactly you're going. And so an agent requires a measurable goal to be able to do the same. And so that's like their destination. So can you imagine going on a road trip and not getting clear where you're going or getting clear what your destination is? You just jump in your family car and you say, okay, we're going on a vacation, but the kids ask you where you're going. You're like, I don't know. We're going to go. And you just hope you end up somewhere. Like that just doesn't happen. But the reality is that real estate agents, when they start, and there's a lot of agents out there that just don't have a clear goal where they're going. They're working every day, but they don't have a clear destination. And so they're doing exactly that analogy that I gave you, that example that I gave you about the road trip. They're getting in their car and they're starting to drive and they don't have a clear destination. And it seems silly when you start to compare it that way. And so most agents that are out there, actually, they don't know where they're going. They don't have a clear destination. And this is one of the major reasons why the failure rate is so high in real estate. So just like when I started, I mean, I can share my personal example. When I started, I shared that example of not having a clear destination. I was motivated, but like I was in the middle of the ocean with a ship without a rudder, and I wasn't making progress. And so Now that we've talked about why setting targets is so important, let's talk about how to actually make it happen. So let's get into the practical side of it. In my experience, the best goal for a real estate agent to set is an income goal. So let's use $200,000 as an example in a given year. Okay, so now just suspend any sort of, we'll say, objection that you have in your mind that, listen, I don't get motivated by money. Even if you're not motivated by money, that's okay. If you have a income goal, what that can do is you can tie your motivator of something else towards you hitting that income goal. But an income goal is highly measurable. It tells you at the end of the year if you hit it or not. And so that's why I think it's so important that every agent has a clear income goal, okay? It's just like any business. When you set your goals with any business at the beginning of the year, you have a revenue goal of what you want to get. And it's the same for a real estate agent. So let's use 200,000 as the example in a given year for income, okay? So the beauty of that, you can work backwards and find out how many sales you need in order to accomplish your income goal. So all you do for that is look at the average sale price in your market. If you're new and you don't know what that is, just look at the average sale price in your market and take what your average commission is. So let's just say it's 2.5% and 400,000 is the average in your market. You're going to make $10,000 per deal. So this means that you need to do 20 sales in order to hit your 200,000 income goal. And so the beauty of this is then you can continue to work backwards from your sales to how many agreements you need to sign. So let's just say you need to do 20 sales to make $200,000. Then you actually have let's just say a 50% conversion rate from agreements to firm sales. So that's a little bit low, but we're using this for easy math. So if you need to do 20 sales, that would mean at 50% conversion rate, you need to do 40 signed agreements. So whether it's a buyer or seller agreement, you need to sign 40 clients up, okay? Now, if you are converting half of your appointments, your listing or buyer appointments to a signed agreement, that means that you need to go on 80 appointments in that year to do 20 sales or 40 signed agreements, right? And so if you work backwards from there of appointments, how many conversations you need to have in a given year to hit your 80 appointments, and you say, you know, I have 10 potential leads that I'm speaking with, I'm able to convert, say, 10%. And so that means that you'd need to have 800 conversations to do 80 appointments, to sign 40 clients, to be able to do 20 sales, to be able to make $200,000. So you can see how you can work backwards, which is so powerful. And then what you do is you break it down weekly. So based on the numbers that I shared with that example, you'd need to do about 16 to 17 conversations a week, 1.5 appointments, okay? You need to sign just under one agreement per week, and you need to do a sale every other week to be able to hit that on approximately on average, right? So this is really powerful to know what you need to do on a daily activity level to be able to hit your firm sale goal. And so those steps that I shared with you are steps along the way, along the journey towards that destination of your firm sale goal. So if you're a new agent and you don't have prior sales data, just ask your manager for the numbers that I'm sharing with you, and they'll be able to share it with you very quick. So just remember that even though money may not be your main motivator, okay, that's okay, because the income goal gives you clarity. It gives you something specific that you can work backwards for, and it's highly measurable. Just tie your motivator to whatever that is, and that's going to help you achieve that. And so the income goal is going to tell you when you've arrived, okay? It's going to tell you if you're winning or losing along the path, along the year, and it creates a clarity in your life that helps you move with purpose, So if you don't set a clear income goal, the chances of hitting it and arriving at your destination is like slim to none. Just remember, getting in your car for any sort of road trip, if you don't plug in the GPS and you don't know exactly where you're going, it's very low chance. There are very low chances that you're going to actually arrive. So here's another example I hear a lot from newer agents is some newer agents will say, my goal is just to learn this year. Okay, so although this is very amiable, that learning is a very good thing, it should never be your main goal. Learning will be the byproduct of doing lots of sales, okay? And yes, learning is going to be part of it, but that's not measurable enough to say, I want to learn. So a good goal is measurable, and you know at the end of the year if you hit it or not with a simple yes or no, okay? You need to be able to measure it and to be able to say yes or no, did I hit it or not? Even seasoned agents can avoid giving specific measurable goals. And the interesting thing is real estate agents in general, I mean, we're great storytellers, right? We can explain away if we had a good year or not. But with a clear target, it's harder to tell a story. Okay, it's harder to tell a story. So there was a manager and there was a sales agent, and they were meeting with a weekly cadence. And so the sales manager asked the agent, how did your week go? And the agent just started giving stories. And so the manager said, okay, this week I want you to focus on having X amount of conversations. And so the sales agent agreed to it. There was a commitment made. The next week they come back and the agent starts going into all the stories of the week on all the challenges he had. And so the manager said, okay, well, how many conversations did you have? And then the agent continued to give stories. Well, like I just couldn't get a hold of anyone. My car broke down. And the manager stopped him in his tracks, said, listen, if you tell me what the number is of how many conversations you had, I'll know what the story is. I'll know what the story is. And so the reality is that there's a box, okay, that I need to put a number in. And so if you tell me what the number is, I'm going to know what the story is. And so the story won't fit in the box, only the number, okay? And so that story does such a good job at communicating that stories don't matter. The only thing that matters are results, okay? And numbers are the best way to be able to communicate results in a very clear and succinct way where you can't tell a story to get out of it, okay? Another reason I think that real estate agents fear setting clear, specific goals is that they're worried that they're going to have mud on their face at the end of the year if they don't achieve it. So they avoid being held accountable for a specific result because they're scared that, it's going to take a lot of work, right? Or they may not achieve it. And so the mindset needed, there needs to be a shift there that this goal that I set, I'm going to commit to it and I'm going to achieve it regardless if the market changes, if the company shifts, if I don't get leads, if my car breaks down, any personal setbacks, it doesn't matter. And so the shift comes when you take 100% responsibility for the target that was set at the beginning of the year and you do whatever is necessary in order to achieve it. Okay? When you have that kind of clarity, it cuts through a lot of the BS out there and a lot of the noise, and it gets you very clear that you need to do A, B, and C in order to get there, and it reduces feelings of helplessness and being out of control. And so overwhelm tends to move to the side when you set clear targets for yourself. So as a final thought here, guys, to tie everything together, the first thing is to fuel up. Every single agent needs to fill their gas tank with a strong motivator to help drive them forward. And if you can do it earlier, it'll help you overcome the challenges that do come up in the business. Number two is to set a clear destination with a highly measurable goal. So a income goal tied together with a firm sale goal. And so that's the third step, is to break it down even further from firm sale goal to your agreement, to your appointments, to how many conversations you need to do, and break it down on a weekly basis so that you can measure it ongoing and to be able to help you accomplish your overall goal. So the 3 steps: fuel up, set your destination, and then break down your goal to weekly actionables to ensure that you're going to hit it. So you have the end result, you have the end point, and you have the steps along the way that will tell you if you're on track or off track. So in the next episode, I'm going to guide you through creating a GPS system that Bruce Lee used to keep your goal top of mind on a daily basis. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please share and subscribe it to other real estate agents, where we are building a community of full out real estate agents together. I love you guys, and keep on going full out.